welcome back to my channel. Last week's reading vlog wasn't a very good one. It consisted of 2 whole clips, but the week before's vlog consisted of over 3 hours of raw footage before I edited it. So this week we're aiming for a balance of the 2. This week I am on my own for the whole week. My husband is away in Germany for work and I don't particularly have any reading goals, but I really do want to finish a couple of books this week, which, you know, I want to do that every week, but I've been reading A Sense of Freedom by Jimmy Boyle since literally the 1st of the month, and at this point on the 10th of the month I am only 60 pages in. I still have 200 pages left, and it's not that I'm not enjoying it, it's just that there's literally a lot of words on the page, so it takes a little bit more concentration to read it. But I want to make more time for reading this week, so hopefully I'll finish that book. Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood comes out tomorrow, so I will be trying to balance reading the new Ali Hazelwood with my non-fiction autobiography from the 70s. But I will also be starting a new audiobook tonight for a book that I actually have within reaching distance. I should plan this out better, but I left A Sense of Freedom downstairs and I'm too lazy to go get it. The other book I will be starting today is The Book of Two Ways by Jodie Picoult. I have about 6 hours left on my Spotify audiobook listening hours, and this is the one book that I think I'm going to have the most difficulty getting into reading with just my eyeballs, considering I have soft DNF'd this before. And it feels quite dense, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look particularly long, but it feels like it has a lot of pages. I'm going to listen to the first 6 hours of this on Spotify before I get put in Spotify jail. So I'm going to start that on my drive to the dance studio this evening. And that's about it with the books. I don't know how I've ended up with kind of 3 books on the go, or I will have when Not in Love comes out tonight. But yeah, that's what we're up to reading wise at the moment. Otherwise, I've just had a parcel from TikTok Shop get delivered, so I thought that might be an interesting way to start the video. I'm not a frequent buyer on TikTok Shop. I'm very cautious with how I spend my money at the moment. I got like a pop-up for an ad where it's like, buy 5 qualifying items and get £100 worth of coupons, and me being an idiot was like, cool, that's like a free £100, that'll be like a voucher, that'll be fun. Except it wasn't. It was coupons. It was 5 different coupons that was like, get this much off when you spend this much, and I was like, oh, that's not what I thought I was signing up for. It was just after payday and I've picked things that are little treats for myself, and I didn't actually spend too much money, so this is my little treat to myself for the month. It was a stupid thing that I didn't need to do, but I've done it and it's here now, so let's open it together. So because TikTok is very algorithm based, it kept trying to offer me books, and I'm really trying to be good with my book buying ban. Not from a financial perspective, because I very nearly bought the novella that goes with the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, and I was like, I do love that series, I love Holly Jackson, I should read that book. But I was like, no, my book buying ban isn't about saving money, it's about not adding to my TBR. So there was a couple of times where I added a book and then took it away again. So there was 2 bookish related items in here, but no actual books, which I am really, really proud of myself for. First up, we have a couple of packs of washi tape, which I am really excited about because we all know I love my journal. And I believe the 3 supplies you need if you're not particularly artistic but want to have a pretty journal are coloured pens, stickers and washi tape. So this is the first pack. It's kind of, oh, I'll take it out of the plastic, there we go. It's kind of space themed. I was missing some purple in my washi tape collection, and I'm genuinely really excited about all of these, particularly the moon one. And as a space aesthetic girly, these are very exciting. Then we have Record of Backyard Vintage Time series. So this is more washi tape, but it's more kind of pastel-y and neutral, like earth tones. This is where my cottagecore starts to come out. Oh, they're so pretty. So those are the tapes I got in this set. They were both disgustingly cheap as well. Like, that was the thing with TikTok Shop. It's just so cheap. To get to the qualifying number of items, this selection of hair clips, claw clips, was really, really cheap. Something already sounds like it's broken. But I do love a claw clip. The one I'm most excited about is this one that looks like a flower. The last two things are the most bookish. I've seen girlies use these with their Kindles, and I don't currently have one of those like Kindle page turner clicker things, but maybe this will help me invest in one. I don't know how this works. I know this clamps onto like your bedside table, but this feels like it should move, and it definitely doesn't. This may be a load of crap and I've just wasted my money, but you know, could be worse. I've got one of those Kindle sound holder things. And then this is the thing I'm most excited about. I've got this graphic t-shirt in this beautiful sage colour, and it's got this bookish design on it. And this was like £5. Like, sure, the quality doesn't feel great. The actual design feels really plasticky, but honestly, I'm excited. I might wear this tomorrow actually. And I don't have any bookish t-shirts, so I'm excited to have started this collection. That's where we are at the start of this week. I apologise for last week's vlog. Let's try and find a bit of balance in this week's vlog. Woohoo! Hello, it's Tuesday, so all round I'm doing better than filming last week. I've got my new book talk t-shirt on with the books on it, looking really cute. It feels cheap as fuck, but it's comfy, so it's fine. I would love to tell you that it was the morning and I've been to the gym and I've been really productive and it's been, you know, sunny and the world is full of glitter. But unfortunately that is not the case. But it is 4:10, so most of the day is gone because I woke up earlier than normal. I've been in a major sleep deficit recently, so waking up has been really difficult. But I had to wake up early because our cleaner was meant to come this morning. But I woke up to an email saying that the cleaner was ill, so wouldn't be able to make it today. And I was like, oh, gutted. Our cleaner's not very well. We've had her for a year, so we know her quite well at this point. But on the other hand, I don't need to get out of bed. So that worked well for me. But I was texting Lucas because he's an hour ahead in time zone where he is in Germany, and he obviously has to get up for work, so he was awake and up and about. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to try not to go back to sleep. I think that will really help with my sleep schedule and, like, you know, get me back on track. So I got up, got dressed, came downstairs, had some breakfast, took my meds, read some of my book, which I will tell you about in a moment, and then proceeded to fall asleep for like 2.5 hours on the sofa. So I clearly needed it, otherwise I wouldn't have fallen asleep, but that was a long nap. In terms of reading, I started listening to The Book of Two Ways last night as an audiobook on my way to and from the dance studio, and I got past the point that I got to when I soft DNF'd it. I think I didn't get past like 20 pages when I read it before, and I can see why, because it's based on a woman who, I mean, the opening chapter is a plane crash, so it's quite intense from the off. And then this woman just, like, she's at the hospital, she's one of 36 survivors, and she seems to have come out of this completely unscathed, bearing in mind people died, so like it just seems a bit like there needs to be more explanation as to how she is walking away with no injuries when other people have literally lost their lives. I feel like that was a bit glossed over. But the representative from the airline company is like, do you want us to fly your family in? Do we need to fly you home? Like, where do you need to go? And she's like, I'm gonna go back to this archaeology site in Egypt that I worked on 15 years ago and I never completed my PhD dissertation for. It's like, okay, so you're spontaneously flying over to Egypt. That's kind of where it is so far. And then there's flashbacks to her being at college with a British guy called Wyatt, who I believe is the love interest of the story, and they're doing their PhDs on something to do with linguistics and Egyptology. And there's a lot of, I'm going to call it academia dumping. It's clear that the author has done their research. They learned a lot about the academic side of Egyptology to write this book, but it's a little bit overwhelming, especially to listen to just as an audiobook. I probably would enjoy it more if I was co-reading, but I also know that I've only got 6 hours of audiobook time left on my Spotify for this month, so I'm only going to listen to 6 out of the 15 hours of this audiobook, so I'm going to have to go out the rest of it alone which is a bit intimidating at this point, but hopefully I'll ease into the narrative style a little bit more. But yeah, it's a bit intense so far. It's very much giving, like, I know Ali Hazelwood did not invent academia based romance, but it gives Ali Hazelwood vibes without the true qualifications of the author. Like, Ali Hazelwood is a woman in STEM. I believe she has a PhD. I believe she is a doctor. I believe, you know, she is a proper science lady, so she is able to integrate the STEM aspects of her protagonists without it being too overwhelming to the reader, whereas this doesn't feel as well integrated. The Egyptology is very much dumped on you, and as someone who has an interest in mythology, predominantly Greek, but I'm open to Egyptian mythology, I do find it interesting, but I don't know if it's portrayed in the most interesting way. But speaking of Ali Hazelwood, her new book, Not in Love, came out today, and because I pre-ordered it on Kindle rather than from Amazon or Waterstones, I didn't have to wait for a physical book to be delivered. So as soon as midnight hit, and I'd sorted out the fact that I didn't have enough money in my bank account to pay for the pre-order, I could download Not in Love. And I was so intending to read a little bit more of A Sense of Freedom and try and balance reading both books simultaneously, but I was tired anyway, so I just started reading the new Ali Hazelwood. And it's not like academia dumping from the beginning. There's an opening note from the author that says it's more of like an erotic romance rather than a rom-com, so the genre of this one's a little bit different. I've now hit the 25% mark, and I don't know if I particularly agree. It definitely doesn't follow the kind of generic romance plotline of person meets person, person falls in love, confesses love, and then they move on to doing more adult things. They're definitely doing the more adult things first, but that hasn't happened yet, and I believe I've hit 25%, if not 20%. I'm a decent chunk of the way through. So far, not overly smutty. I know a lot of people have said that it's more smutty than her other books, but I wouldn't go as far as to say erotica. But I don't know if YouTube's gonna dislike me for saying that word, so I'm gonna try not to say it again. Either way, I did start reading Ali Hazelwood last night. I think I got 26 pages in, and like I said, I read a little bit more this morning before I fell asleep on the sofa. So my great plan for today was to be really productive and then read for most of the afternoon, but I didn't. I had a big old nap, then I had lunch, then I went to the gym. I've just got back, got changed. I have to do some editing and actually start addressing the rest of my to-do list, because I have been ignoring that. That's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day. I'll let you know if I have anything else to update you on. Right, it's still Tuesday. 2 updates in one day. Look how... Is this productive? I don't know. Mildly consistent. But I've kind of ended up reading 3 books simultaneously, which isn't like me at all. I very much used to be 1 book at a time, but then now I'm kind of 1 book in 1 format at a time. So I'll listen to 1 audiobook and read 1 book with my eyeballs, whether it is a physical book or a Kindle book. And at the moment, since Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood came out today, last night, however you want to define it, I'm now having started 3 books, and I'm not very far through any of them. So I am 26% of the way through A Sense of Freedom, bearing in mind it is currently the 11th of June, and I started reading this on the 1st of June, so this one is slow going. Not because I'm not enjoying it or it's not good, it's just, I don't know how well you can see that there is literally just a lot of text on this page, so it's quite dense. So it's taking me a while, but I am enjoying it. Then on Monday I started listening to The Book of Two Ways by Jodi Picoult as an audiobook, but the thing with this, as I think I briefly mentioned earlier, is that I've only got 6 hours of listening time left on my Spotify account, and this is a 15-hour audiobook, so I'm only going to get to listen to 6 hours of this, and then I'm going to have to go at it on my own with my eyeballs. And then last night I managed to read 29 pages of Not in Love. I've now got to the 18% mark, which is page 70. I read a decent chunk while I ate breakfast this morning, then fell back asleep, but that's not the point. So that, I think, is quite the comprehensive update. I'll say goodnight and pick up at some point tomorrow. Today has gone very differently to how I anticipated, but not like in a wildly off the rails way, just in a kind of unanticipated way. I've not been sleeping very well, which means I've not been getting out of bed in the morning very well, which means I've lost time in the morning to do things, you know? And the last couple of days I've been going to the gym, and I was thinking, oh, today if I have time it would be nice to go to the gym to get my steps in for the day, because I know ballet tonight, while ballet is an incredibly good workout, I don't get a lot of steps in, as opposed to tap where I get like loads of steps in. So I was like, okay, it would be quite nice to do like a little go to the gym, do a little treadmill walk. But I knew I wanted to edit last week's vlog, the week before. I've got a mammoth edit to do, basically, and I wanted to try and make a dent on that. And granted, I am 40 minutes in, but it still reckons there's like another hour of raw unedited footage. So I'm like, I was gonna wait till I'd finished at least the first draft of that edit, then maybe go to the gym. But I've got to the time where I've kind of hit the, if I want to go, I need to go now, and I've still got ages left on this edit. So I'm like, oh, I think I'm just gonna go, and I can come back, make dinner and go to ballet, and it won't be as productive a day as I'd hoped for, but at least I've made a dent in this edit. At least I've done something. I think I need to stop with the mindset where if I don't finish anything, I've not been productive, because actually I've made progress on something, and that's fine. I've also, more excitingly, Lucas has video called me because he was sending me a bunch of videos because he's got a day off today, or at least an afternoon off. He was in work this morning. Side note, if I haven't introduced this properly, Lucas is my husband. He works in live TV and he's currently in Germany to work on the Euros football tournament. And yeah, like I said, he had the afternoon off, so he's gone into the town that he's working in, and he's found a bookshop because I told him that the Germans do really, really good special editions. So he sent me all these videos. I'll include them here, but he sent me so many videos, and he was getting to the point where he was like, I don't want to send you any more videos, so I just thought I'd video call you. So he called me, and I encouraged him making some purchases, and he's just sent me another video where he's told me how much he spent, and that the bag he's been given has a shoulder strap, not just like a tote bag with a little hand strap, like a full-on shoulder strap. He's done some damage, but personally I think they are absolutely worthy investments. So we're going to film a TikTok revealing them together when he gets back in a couple of weeks, which will be exciting. Yeah, basically my plan for today was that I wanted to edit loads of videos because my dad's coming to visit this weekend because it's Father's Day, and I can't imagine I'm going to have any time to edit while he's here, and I don't want to. I want to make the most of spending time with him, but then I don't know when I'm going to do this editing. Things are piling up on me a little bit at the moment because yeah, tomorrow is going to be busier than I anticipated because I've got therapy in the morning, and then I'm going to another dance teacher shadowing thing in the afternoon, and like I've got ballet tonight and it's my long night of dance, so I'm gonna be there for quite a while. I didn't even have it on my list to go to the gym today, but I did a core workout yesterday and what I've learned is that I don't have any core, so I am aching today. Even doing this hair is a bit of a challenge. I'm not going to go and do any intense workout because I've got ballet tonight, but I want to go and get my steps in, have a really good stretch. I found a couple of YouTube videos, so I think I'm gonna follow one of those. But it's not been anywhere near as productive as I wanted it to be. I feel like the last few weeks, I got back from Comic-Con and I was exhausted from Comic-Con, and then I was on like a post-con high, so I ended up filming loads for the vlog that week, and now I'm crashing. Last week I completely crashed and didn't film anything at all, And this week I'm like just trying to find some motivation to do stuff, and it's not there. I think while I vaguely have the motivation to go to the gym, I'm gonna lean into it. At least I did something with my hair, so it looks a little bit less like I've just chucked it into a ponytail. Hello, it is Friday and I am grumpy. That's not the way to intro a clip. I didn't sleep very well last night. I woke up at 5 AM like, am I gonna be sick? My tummy hurts. What does this mean? And I wasn't ill, which is always a bonus. But I did stay awake for an hour, at which point it was 6 AM, so like realistically I probably should have just stayed awake rather than going back to sleep. But I went back to sleep, and then I didn't wake up until 10. And that was annoying because my plan was to get up at 9, have my breakfast, and then go to the gym at 10. And I was like, it's fine, you didn't sleep well, like, we'll just make it work. Also, I know my hair is super greasy, but the thought of having a shower and washing it right now makes me want to cry. So I have learned that when a task puts you in task paralysis, just don't do the task, get on with the rest of your day. And I was like, it's fine, we'll just make it work, I'll have to figure it all out. Got to the gym, there's a balloon arch around the door, and I know that my gym's been doing this refurbishment recently, and I was like, oh yeah, they must be doing their celebration reopening thing. And I get there and the guy's like, gym's closed till 1. I'm like, of course it is, because they're doing their big reopening thing. And like, I get it, but similarly, the whole refurbishment and the reopening, it's for the staff at the gym, it's not for the people that use the gym in the nicest possible way. No one cares about the refurbishment as much as you do. I just want to go and do my workout. I got back in my car and came home, but I was annoyed about it. So then I was like, okay, I'll just go have my shower and that's fine. But then I just didn't want to. I just laid on my bed watching TikToks and feeling sad. So now I've decided that, like I said, there's no point being paralysed by a task that I feel intimidated by. So I'm going to French plait my hair because that hides the greasiness a little bit. And I'm going to film a TikTok that I need to film to go up tomorrow because my dad is visiting this weekend, because it's Father's Day in the UK. I don't know if it's a global thing. I know Mother's Day is in different days around the world. I think Father's Day is the one that actually lines up. But my dad's coming to visit this weekend and he doesn't drive, so he has to take lots of trains to get here. And I want to be able to still post all the content I want to post, but not have it impact the time that I have to spend with him, and do a bunch of editing before his train gets in, and then I'm gonna go spend the rest of the day with him. But it's just so frustrating that I didn't sleep well, and then I was like, it's okay, we'll make it work, I'm still gonna do my exercise. Couldn't even do my exercise, and now I just feel grumpy. But then I got a notification from my period tracking app that says, you're due to start your period tomorrow, and I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, not feeling it. Makes total sense. I should have seen that coming, really. That's how today has gone. Reading so far this week has been very average. I've officially paused reading A Sense of Freedom so I can finish reading Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, because I just can't balance reading two things with my eyes at the same time. But similarly, I think because I'm due on, I've been in like a self-destructive mood. So when I get into bed at night, rather than reading like I want to, I'm just sitting on TikTok or playing a stupid phone game and like procrastinating going to sleep. It's like self-sabotage and it's really frustrating, and I need to stop doing it. But at least today I was planning to do an upper body workout at the gym, so French plaiting my hair is kind of a bit like an upper body workout anyways. The TikTok I'm about to film, because normally I bulk film at the beginning of the week, but there was one video that I wanted to give myself more time before I talk about it, which sounds more dramatic than it is. It's basically I want to do a mid-month TBR check-in, and I wanted to be able to give the most accurate check-in I could, because if I filmed it at the beginning of the week, obviously I'm at a different point in all of the books than I am now. So that's going up tomorrow. Though I posted a video the other day about the weirdest book that we have in our wedding library. TLDR. I feel like I explain this in every video, so please do tell me if it's repetitive and boring. But when my husband and I got married, instead of having a gift list or a registry, we asked our guests to gift us a copy of their favourite book. So we have a little library of our favourite people's favourite books, and in an endeavour to read them all, we take in turns to choose one each month, and we call it a book club, or I call it a book club. He doesn't really participate. But one of the weird, my aunt slipped in a joke kind of book that was like a non-fiction guide to being a better lover book from the 80s, I think it was 80s. And she's been nagging me about talking about it. She's like, you're always talking about the wedding books, but you never mention the one I gave you. So I thought I'd make a video about it, mostly to appease my aunt. I didn't think it would do that well, and now it has like 7,000 views, which is very unlike me. My videos don't tend to do that well. Like, I've been making content on the internet for 10 years, and it's not really come to anything. But I do it because I enjoy it. This one's doing quite well, and I'm really close to 1,000 followers on TikTok, which isn't a massive deal to a lot of people, but it's a huge deal to me. So if I can do that, that will be really exciting. That's how my day started. That's what I'm doing. If you want to see, let's do a quick rundown. I've got my mirror here, so it's a bit off-putting. Let's do a quick rundown of my mid-month TBR check-in with half my hair done and half my hair not, because my arms hurt from doing one side and I'm going to take a break before I do the other side. Unrelated, I saw a TikTok earlier of Australian Gogglebox where they're watching Bluey, and my mum's a huge Gogglebox fan, so I messaged her earlier. So I've just found out they watch Bluey on Australian Gogglebox, so I know what I'm watching next. And in all caps, she's responded, "There's an Australian Gogglebox." So I know what we're watching next. Okay, that's cheered me up a bit. Clearly, I'm in a very malleable mood because we're very interchangeable. Either way, I have 6 books on my monthly TBR for this month. I think it is the most achievable TBR I've set for myself this year. Whether I do it or not is a different question entirely, especially considering I've just uploaded an 1.5-hour weekly vlog of the end of last month, where I try to read as much of my physical TBR in the last few days of the month as possible. But doing that meant that I was clear to start my June TBR on June 1st, which I don't normally do. So I started to read A Sense of Freedom by Jimmy Boyle. If you'll notice, there's still a bookmark in it. I've not finished it yet. I'm not even halfway through. I'm 72 pages in, and I am enjoying it, but it's I keep saying it's a very dense read, and I mean that in the sense that there's a lot of words on all the pages. Like, that is a tightly packed, there is a lot of words in this book, so it's taking me a bit longer to get through, but I think I'm quite happy having that as a book I dip in and out of throughout the month. And apparently this is the motion with which I am demonstrating that. But alongside that, I started listening to Guild by Raven Kennedy as an audiobook, and I managed to finish that in 6 days. It was a combination of having a lot of driving to do, and no, that was it. It's because I had a lot of driving to do. I rated it 3 stars. This is the only book from my monthly TBR that I finished so far. But like I said, I've got A Sense of Freedom on the go. I'm also listening to the audiobook for The Book of Two Ways by Jodi Picoult, but I'm using Spotify for this, and I've only got, after finishing Guild, I only had 6 hours of audiobook time left in my allowance for the month, so I know I'm only going to be able to listen to the first 6 hours of the audiobook for this, which is less than 50%. So I'm kind of trying to ration it. When I am driving, I'm like turning it off as soon as I get to where I'm going. The chapters are quite long, and so far this is a book that I've soft DNF'd before, and so far I can understand why, because it's about a woman who was kind of in the process of doing her PhD to become an Egyptologist, and then her whole life kind of got flipped upside down, and then she's been through like a major trauma which is making her reevaluate her life, and it's her kind of going through that reevaluation. There's a lot of flashbacks, and it's a bit to and fro, but the Egyptology is really heavy. You can tell the author's done her research, but it's almost like, I've done all this research and I'm going to squeeze all of it in, even if it feels info dumpy, so it feels a bit overwhelming. That's also on the go. And then I'm also reading Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, which is the new release that I pre-ordered this month, and I pre-ordered that on my Kindle, so I'm reading that as an ebook. So I do have 3 books on the go at the moment, but I've not finished any of them yet. So my plan moving forward is to continue listening to this on my short drives until I run out of audiobook time, in which time I hope to have finished Not in Love, maybe finish this, and then finish this one physically. Now, I've got 2 more books on my physical TBR. One of them is One Last Shot by Betty Coyote, which is my Afterlight subscription book for May. It's a romance book, and I generally get through romance books pretty quickly, and I generally enjoy the Afterlight subscription books. So I'm hoping that once I've got through all of these slightly heavier books, this will be a nice one to kind of read in the last week of the month. And then I'm planning to binge read my Famous 5 book for the month. I'm going to start it the day before the last day of the month, so that if I don't read it all in one day, I have another day just to finish it off. But I'm a little bit bored of the Famous 5 at this point. I have read 5 of their books already, so this is the 6th one. But my plan is to start reading this on the 29th of June and either read it in one sitting or read half of it and read the other half. You know, I'm going to binge read this just because I need a bit of space between finishing the last one and reading this one. So genuinely, I think I can actually get round to finishing all of these books. We'll see. I've not been reading a lot at the moment, but now that I know that it's because my period's due, it all makes more sense. I've been talking for far too long. I need to do my makeup, do the other half of my hair, film this TikTok and do some editing all before my dad's train gets here. I'm gonna go do that. Finishing the vlog in my pyjamas, in my bedroom, with poor lighting, no makeup, and a spot star sticker that's not sticking to my face very well is probably not the best way to do it. I'm feeling very run down. I don't know why, the past few weeks have just kind of caught up with me and nothing's really felt like... I guess the best way to say it is I feel like everything is on top of me rather than I'm on top of everything. I am under a lot of things right now, and it's nothing major. I'm just doing the autistic thing where it takes more energy for me to do day-to-day life and socialising, and it takes me longer to recover. And I've just spent the whole weekend with my dad, which was fine, but takes more out of me than perhaps I really allowed for. And I've got a busy few days coming up, completely by accident, and I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed by it all. But I've done some organising this evening before coming to bed, and I think I feel a little bit more ready for it. In terms of reading this week, I've not finished any books, but I have reached the 70% mark of Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, which I'm reading on my Kindle. There's always that part of my brain that says, you could finish it tonight. I'm not going to finish it tonight. There's a real chance that I'm going to fall asleep within 10 minutes of reading tonight. But similarly, there's also a very real chance that I will stay awake until 2 AM. So I'll let you know which way that goes in the beginning of next week's vlog. I didn't get very much of A Sense of Freedom by Jimmy Boyle read this week because I put it on pause to read Not in Love and Go Out of Focus. Super fun. But I'll be going back to that when I finish Not in Love. And the other book I've had on the go is The Book of Two Ways by Jodie Picoult, which I've been listening to as an audiobook, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get put in Spotify jail tomorrow when I'm driving to see a friend. So really considering getting the audiobook on Audible, because I don't really fancy reading the rest of this without the audiobook, but we'll see how much of it I'm able to listen to tomorrow. I've got quite a lot of driving to do tomorrow, so we'll see how it ends up. I know this vlog's been another intermittent one. I think what happened is I accidentally burnt myself out by making a really intense vlog at the end of March, and honestly I did not expect a video that was an hour and a half to get as many views as it did, but I'm surprised and grateful. I am currently 5 followers away from 1,000 on TikTok, which I think I mentioned earlier in the week. I know is not a lot for some people, but it's a huge milestone for me. and I'm kind of not anxious about it, but excited about it. And just like, I don't know, it feels like it feels like one of those things like your birthday, like, oh my god, I'm going to get older, but actually nothing changes. I think it's going to be one of those scenarios. It feels like a big thing, but it's not actually going to be a big thing. Either way, however this vlog turns out, thanks for sticking with me. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great day whenever you're watching this video. I hope you're reading a great book, and I'll see you next time for another bookish video. Thanks. Bye. Why did I say thanks? Bye.